A look into My Indonesia, rewritten in 2016. Way to be free in Indonesia. Increasingly we see many cases of girls who rapidly get married and rapidly get divorced with not much intentions to keep such marriages promises. After this, there is a sense of freedom in the personal relationships in the life of these girls. Can we blame them for play like this? Of course not. Indonesia society can be very suffocate for these girls by almost obligate them to get married and have children without even questioning the freedom of the woman on getting married, having a career, or at least choose to not get married or not have kids. This emotional repression and pressure is sometimes too violent and reach the point where we can designate such mental foul play as criminal and psychological abuse. The divorce brings them careers and personal choice for their love life, that unlike many extremists' claims, this girl's lives are not filled with indecency and prostitution. In fact, the studies shows that many of these girls do not even seek for any relationships after the divorce, and they usually only try to find a way of life that allow them to be respected as an individual person when seeking a professional career or a more satisfactory relation that can lead them to a new wedding more base on their pure feelings of love and trust by the partners chosen by a more wisely and well-timed decision and not by the tricked and rushed choice made of pure pressure. The men in Indonesia has been a good example by accepting the women in senior positions in professional or politicians' jobs, and not mostly by not supporting or participate in this constant social pressure that is made by the family of the girls and by the public education system. Mans are not always the font of the higher pressure. In my personal view, I truly think if Indonesia now can actually accept many situations like homosexuality and single parenting or the women who choose to fulfill the professional career, it makes sense that religious or political organizations nowadays are still able to decrease or even banish the social pressure tactics and liberate the women in order to allow her to fully use their right to personal choice and life planning. I'm proud to see every day many good examples of this effort, leading entire communities to improve their environment toward full gender equality, and beside this, religion is not even an issue, since many of these women are such religious or even more than the women and mans who fall over this pressure. They are indeed an amazing example of modernity and liberalism mixed with culture that can keep also the best conservative rules in their lives and relations and in society, a fact that crash directly and fully contradict the overreacted statements made by the defenders of this policy of pressure and oppression where family is a mandatory and civil obedience guide where everybody got accepted the submission of such values. These girls are simply looking for more interesting lives without any intention to become a prostitute like the most extremist people believe so. Come on, just stop it. The Indonesia society still have their culture very alive but well mixed with the modern values. The economy is relatively good, with good salaries and attractive living conditions in the general context. The low crime rates and high humanization of labor law and job market are indeed a big pride for Indonesian people, since that the rest of the world is given up to a network of unprecedented slavery and inhuman treatment of the workforce. Indonesia is the best Muslim country and maybe can be released from all the nonsenses of past in no time, without becoming offensive or chaotic. I truly believe that Indonesia can be tolerant without become excessively liberal. And say this because I personally do not believe in the most deep liberal way of life, because I'm a living product of that and I can ensure how much problematic, chaotic, and conflicted that becomes on our social environment. But I believe Indonesian is the most well-balanced Asian country and it can accept well the good multiculturalism. The end of racist and elimination of a most extremist mode of religion don't need to be an act of liberalism, but instead can be an act of tolerance and modern society that can become the most well-synchronized culture based on cosmopolitan and multiracial factors, and this act of tolerance can be simple as the people respecting the personal respect that everybody wish to attendant in life, the freedom and personal essence of our own lives and our own personality. However, it's always good to keep most of the rules that are promoted by our Muslim Brotherhood and by the spirit of good humankind, the help, and the collective understanding that share the passion for this nation, because it brings discipline and respect to our social and private relationships, and beside that, such rules can establish the importance and the mutual understanding about the way that people need to be respectful and kind to each other in the society and in their personal and family environments. I understand some of the fears that those religious organizations feel, especially when they watch the wild anarchy and the chaotic world outside of Indonesian. Examples like Thailand red districts or Japanese sex liberations can provoke extreme panic among the most conservative people in Indonesia. But too much oppression and too much regulation can lead us to new forms of dictatorship and can make us accept measures that can be too intrusive to our personal liberties, and that will not make the country better and certainly not going to make the country to escape to this new destructive way of liberal life that the majority of the world have regretted to adopted. The best perhaps, is really thinking in finding a middle term that can maintain the good laws of Indonesia together with the new personal freedoms that ensure personal creativity and choice, where nobody will be criminalized by any entities or governmental agency that are not even part of the civil and judicial legal authority. We all have good and bad examples available around us, and now we just have to choose what we want and what are the best things that we can adapt it and introduce in our society. The Indonesians still need to learn about many things, and I do not speak only about the government, I mean the people, the Muslim Brotherhood, the schools, and the parents. Everybody have at least one lesson to study in order to achieve peace and harmony to each other. This is land cover by the green beauty, by the generous people. We can all produce food, we all can help to increase efficiency at work, and all of this can make this paradise to be even more perfect than it is now, so it's not time to feed conflicts, is time to help progress and to unite us more, maybe for a kind of positive nationalism better than we ever have before. The love and proud for one another is the step one for full acceptance and full integration of all the citizens into our free and happy Indonesia, the only Indonesia I know and the only Indonesia I want. This is my Indonesia, the Indonesia I love.